Which scene in a film disturbed you the most? The bit when that guy blinds a kid by pouring burning oil into his eyes in Slumdog Millionaire. Never forget, this movie was advertised as the feel-good movie of the year, and the trailers mostly showed the dancing sequence, which was nothing more than a bonus scene hidden away during the credits if I remember correctly. What a depressing film. Event Horizon. The hell, recording showing terrible things. I don't believe in supernatural stuff, but that scene sticks with me. In Return to Oz, where the girl is strapped to the table and when you see all those freestanding heads lining the walls. That movie is one of the most trippy and beeped up movies, and it boggles my mind that it was marketed to children. We Were Soldiers, when they carpet bombed too close and several soldiers caught on fire. Then when they lifted up the guy and his legs peeled. There's a scene in a horror/thriller film called Mirrors. The plot is basically there's another dimension in anything reflective, and they're evil for the most part. It's been over a decade since I've seen it, I'm sure. Where a woman looks at her reflection in the mirror before getting in the bath. As she leaves the mirror, her reflection remains there. Couple of minutes later, she's chilling in the bath and the mirror version of her just starts ripping its own jaw open, which in turn forces the woman's jaw open in the bath. And she cannot do anything about it to stop it, and just has to let her jaw get torn to shreds as the bathtub fills with blood. It is brutal. Zodiac. When he's stabbing the couple at Lake Berryessa. The lack of any music while hearing their screams is disturbing. This still haunts me. The movie is Saw 2, and it's the part where the big guy doesn't want to do his challenge, so he throws that girl into a pit of dirty needles. Can't think of many things that could be worse. The scene in RoboCop when Murphy was murdered. Oh, probably the scene in Hannibal where Anthony Hopkins cooks the guy's brain and feeds it to him. There's a scene from the movie The Road where the father and his son discover a room full of chained, naked people waiting to be eaten by the cannibals living in the house, and then they run away and they get chased by the cannibals. That scene really traumatized me when I was young. I remember crying so hard when I watched that movie. That was terrifying in the book. I don't think I want to see the film. The baby scene in Trainspotting. Spoiler alert for The Thing 1982. One of the researchers, Norris, gets infected by the extraterrestrial being and had started replicating him from the inside. Dr. Cooper attempts to revive him after Norris gets a heart attack, being unaware of the infection. As he is about to use the defibrillator, the extraterrestrial bites his arms off and Norris' body gets severed into pieces, and each part develops legs of its own as the thing tries to replicate his body. Disgusting stuff. In case you are interested, here's a link to the clip. Skip to 1:12. The scene in the original Pet Sematary where the old guy gets his Achilles tendon cut from the little kid under the bed. I always checked under the bed after that. Edit. These comments are a treat. Still pretty new to Reddit. Only recently been active. I absolutely love all the shared trauma we had with this one scene. Made me smile all day. Seeing all the comments and upvotes. Thanks for making my day in spite of the Rona lockdown and the smoky air making us have to stay indoors for the past few days. I hope you all have a great rest of the day. Stay safe and always check under the bed. Final scene of The Mist with Thomas Jane. All for nothing. That scene in Pinocchio where the boy turns into a donkey. The movie The Lobster stands out to me. Spoilers/disturbing/suicide warning. The premise from what I remember of the movie is society mandates marriage. If you don't marry, you are sent to a hotel. where you have 30 days to meet your spouse. If you don't, you are turned into an animal. First would be when a depressed lady was introduced and tries to get with the main character. 'Cause she only had a few days left to partner up. She mentions she might kill herself if she doesn't, but is worried 'cause her room is only on the 3rd or 4th floor. A few scenes later, the main character is having some serious dialogue with a lady who is known for being cruel and heartless, whom he is trying to court. The lady from earlier, at this point, jumps out her window and is visibly bleeding out and screaming in agony just feet away from the two in dialogue. Because he is acting cruel to impress this other lady and she is pretty evil to begin with, they completely ignore what just happened. I kid you not, it's like a nearly 2-minute scene of serious dialogue while this lady is in the background dying in pain. This was so horrifying to me at the time because I was so young when I watched it, but the last scene in Cannibal Holocaust where the cannibals assaulted and attacked one of the film crew has just stayed with me since. When Dean Thor ate the tomato. In 7. The guy in the sex club recounting what the murderer made him do with a strap-on saw blade. His screaming about what he made him do. That was the worst scene from 7. I went to bed after watching it, and my mind kept revisiting that horrible Polaroid. Incredibly disturbing. There's an 80s/90s horror movie called When a Stranger Calls Back. All the spoilers. In the movie, the killer is a ventriloquist who can throw his voice. In the end scene, the protagonist is in a room with the killer, and can hear him but she can't see him. He has painted himself to look like the wall. This scene impacted me for many years. As a single woman living alone, I would walk around my house, trailing my hand along the wall to make sure no one had painted themselves to match my wall. In the British nuclear apocalypse movie, Threads, the whole movie after the bombings. The eye sewing shenanigans in Coraline. I'm sorry, but Black Swan when she has skin at the edge of nail and she pulls it. Beep. No. The scene in Hotel Rwanda where someone is driving over a bumpy road. The person looks down and realizes the bumps are human bodies. It's horrible to know such things happened. The brave little toaster when the vacuum sucks up his own cord. I will never vacuum over a cord. Same movie for me. But I was a kid. And the scene was the air conditioner's suicide. Splice when the thing grew a dick and raped its mother. Also when the dad beeped it. Think it is on Netflix if anyone is interested. The scene in The Mummy where the scarabs crawled under the one guy's skin. I saw it when I was about 8 and it traumatized me. I still have nightmares once in a while about it 20 years later. In one of the later Rambo, I believe 5, where the bad dudes toss mines inside a pond and make the village people run across the pond or face getting shot. That whole movie has scenes of torture that are hard to watch for me. Not necessarily the gruesome of it, but knowing the fact that real people have definitely had a similar treatment before. There's this bear scene in Annihilation where the voices of the dead crew members mutate into the bear's growl. It's really FK and scary. The D-Day landing scenes in Saving Private Ryan. Especially when they give you some context to the characters in the boat before the landing itself, and as soon as the platform drops they all get shot up to pieces. And then the scene showing the soldier walking around with his blown off arm and all the other soldiers in the other boats blown up and getting caught on fire. It's just a super sad movie, man, and just knowing that people went through horrible experiences like this. Edit/edition. There are so many amazing responses and replies to my comment. I would just like to add that there are so many horrific and saddening stories from the people that had to experience the atrocities of war. I would like to add another movie that really moved me and had me feeling shock and sadness was Hacksaw Ridge. Particularly the scene in which Desmond Doss is on the ridge and he sees a squad of Japanese soldiers going around and killing any wounded Americans that they can find. I couldn't imagine the mental toll it had to take on him to witness his brothers in arms paying the ultimate price like that while fighting for his life himself. This is going to be my first/last edit to this comment. I would like for you to all have a great day, and please, if you ever have the opportunity, show some gratitude towards any veteran or currently enlisted soldier.